let's look at the if statement, the if function, and the conditional statement. The if function and the conditional statement. Can you take your cursor to where you have our if statement and the condition? From our experience in counts, that there is when you are using one criteria to determine what will come or count. Move your cursor to where we used to have our work area. Thank you. Where we worked yesterday. Very good. Now, let's pick some small area of application. Go to the beginning. Let's see. Go to the beginning, A1. Now, you know what conditional means. Conditional means that these things will be done provided this condition is met. If you look at the sum if function, the conditional statement is already attached to the function, which means if the criteria are correct, what it will do is sum. The same thing for average. If the criteria are correct, what it will do is average. The same thing for count. If the criteria are correct, what it's going to do is going to count it. Now, but there are sometimes that you will need to use the if function alone. The if function is a big function in Excel, and it's used alone, it's used in conjunction with other functions to create complex problems. The simple way of using the if function is the if function, the condition itself, what happens if that condition is true, and what happens if that condition is false. For instance, put your cursor in D17. Is your cursor in D17?
Yes, sir.
Now you can say equal, type equal, if, open your bracket, D5 equal Lagos, in quote, open quote, Lagos, close quote. Now you can see the syntax showing you the if statement, you open your bracket, the logical test. The logical test is your question. The question you want answered. Then the value of what will happen if that logical test is true, followed by the value of what happened if that logical test is false. So put if, yes, D5 equal Lagos, then put the Lagos in quotes, double quotes. If, open bracket, D5 equal Lagos. D5 equal Lagos.
Oh, okay. Equal
Lagos. Close the quote, comma. Then open quote again after the comma. Correct, put correct in quotes. Correct in quotes. After that, comma. Then not correct in quote as well. Not correct in quote. Not space correct in quote. Very good. We're just starting to understand how the if function works. You close your brackets. Now, what you have done here, just press enter for you to see the answer. Which answer did you see?
correct.
Which answer did you see?
Correct.
Correct. Hold on. You discover that on our D5, what we have there is Lagos. On our D5, what we have there is Lagos. So what you are telling Excel here is check D5. If what is in D5 is Lagos, display correct. If not, display not correct. Now, go and change what you have in Lagos to Abuja. D5, change it to Abuja. Change that Lagos to Abuja and press enter. What happens to your D15 when you press enter?
It says
What do you
not
see?
correct. It says
Not correct.
Yeah.
Do you understand how to use the if function? This is the foundation. This is the foundation now. Now, go back to that formula and double click on it. Go back to that formula in D15 and double click on it. If that is the condition statement, then you open your brackets. The first thing you put is the criteria. The criteria now is D5 equal Lagos? Why do we put quote? Because we are talking with text. I told you most time that you are talking to text, is that you have to put the quote or you refer to the location where the text is because of space for Allah, so that you won't mistakenly put a space or remove a space and the system is not sure. So the quote is talking about exactness. You discover that not correct has a space in between. So, but it's inside that quote. So each of these three parameters is separated with a comma. There are three different parameters and there are two commas. The first thing is the logical test. The question you are answering is D5 equal Lagos, comma. If it is equal Lagos, display correct. If not, display not correct. The first thing that is displaying is what happened if that your test condition is true. The next one is if that your test condition is not true. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now, one thing I would like you to do, delete the not correct and see what happened now. Delete the not correct and the code. Good. Press enter. What do you see in that place?
Yes.
Good. Do you get that? Because the value of D5 now is Abuja, is not Lagos. So because the value is not correct,
yes, sir,
and you didn't tell the computer what to do, so it's displaying false. So anytime you don't supply what to do if the criteria is not correct, that is, if the criteria is not met, it will just display false. But at least there must be one criteria, and that criteria is what should happen if that conditional statement is true. Is that clear? Do you understand that?
yes, sir.
Very good. Let's do another one again. You are in D16 now. No, leave that one. Leave that one. Don't change anything. Put your cursor in D16. Put equal if F10. Open your bracket. If F10 is greater than 100. That is your criteria. Very good. Comma. Display it is. No. Just type it is. It is.
Okay.
The quote means you display.
Oh,
Open your, close your bracket. Comma. Comma. Now, 2 times 5, no quote. 2 multiplied by 5. Good. Close your bracket. Press enter. Very good. Hold on. Very good. There are 2-3 things you will learn from here. Double click again so that you can see what I'm talking about. 2-3 things you are learning from here. What is the first condition? The condition is F10 greater than 100. Is F10 greater than 100? Check F10. What do you have in F10 there? It's showing on the screen.
F10 is 50.
Is 50. So is it greater than 100?
No.
No, which means if it is greater than 100, it's going to display it is in quotes. But if it is not greater than 100, this time around, you don't want it to display just anything. You want it to perform an operation. And the operation is that it should multiply 2 by 5. So because it is an operation you want it to perform, you don't need to put an operation in quotes. It is only something you want to display that you put in quotes. Do you get that? So because F5 is not greater than 100, the answer is false. Then what you ask it to do if it is false is that it should multiply 2 by 5. And 2 by 5 equals 10. And that is why you have 10 in that place. So what you have learned again is if you are performing an operation, if what you want the computer to do is an operation, after evaluating your criteria, then you don't need to put the operation in quotes. But if what you want the computer to do is to display a string or a text, then what you want computer displayed, you have to put it in code for the purpose of preciseness. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You can press enter. All right. The last one for now, put your cursor in E5. Sorry, E15. I mean E15. Okay, make it E17. Very good. Type equal if open bracket sum open bracket F10 to F15 F10 to F15 close your bracket less than 1,000 close the bracket and put less than 1,000. Equal if sum, yes, of less than 1,000, comma. No, don't put quotes. Average open your bracket, G10 to G13. Close your bracket, comma. Close your bracket. Close your bracket before the comma. Close your bracket before the comma. H12 raised to power 2. You know, after that, you put your after average, you put your comma. After the average G10 to G13, you put a comma. Yes. H12 raised to power 2. Close your bracket and press enter. Hold on. Let me explain what you have done. This is an example of it's not too complex, but we call it a nested function. What do I call it?
Nested function.
Nested function. When you have some function embedded in another function. Now, put your cursor in that place where it is, go to formula and click on insert function. Let's see the evaluation so that I can understand it better. Insert function is under, go to the formula ribbon. By the left, you'll see insert function. So to give you that insert function dialog box, so we can evaluate this formula. Very good. So listen to this formula first. Look at function argument from up. After the function argument, what you see is if. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, so what you have done, your logical test itself is a formula. So sometimes your logical test is as simple as Is F equals 5? Is F greater than 3? Is F 9? Is ABC 15? Any condition. But in this case, your condition is an operation. It will look at that operation and evaluate it. It will sum F10 to F15. See it? Do you see it?
Yes, that's the first thing.
Now, that exactly. So the computer will evaluate both your value if true and value if false. So what happened if true will determine what is going to display. So the average of G10 to G13 is 76.
That's the value if the sum of
H12 raised to power 704. So because it is true, it displayed 76. If it is not true, it will have displayed 2704. So you can see the if function checks whether a condition is met and return one value if it is true and another value if it is false. Do you get? So click OK and go back to that place to go and see that for, because it has each of the comma, it has splitted it, and that's why that comma is very important. Double click on it again. Let's see. You can see after the sum function, hold on, the sum function is an operation on its own. So it performs the sum function, the value you get from the sum function, it compare it whether it's less than 1,000. It takes a position, true or false. Then, good, he now evaluated the average, G10 to G13. He also evaluated H12 raised to power 2. You can see it's 2704, 52 to the power of 2, because 50 to the power of 2 is 2,500. So it evaluated the 2. And that's why when you press enter, it gives you 76, because 76 is the average of G10 to G13, because the condition you put was true. Do you understand the if statement?
Sir, I do.
Then this if statement now, you are using it together with another statement. So I have two other functions that I nest. When you say something is nesting, something is big, then another small one is inside it. Another small one can be inside it again. Then when you are having 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of nest of formula, then it's becoming a complex formula. And that is why I ask you to go to the insert function so that you can see what the evaluation is at different stage. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand the if statement very well?
Yes,
sometimes you might need to nest if statement, but I don't think we can go that level now. We can have 3, 4, 5 if conditions, because sometimes when you have 16 conditions, you might need to be using if for all of them. Okay, let's try something. Let's see if that, press enter there. Do you understand that? You understand what I've just done now?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, equal if E10. Open your bracket, E10. Open your bracket. After if, you have to open your bracket. Okay. Instead of if 10, make it F10. Equal if F10 is less than 30. It's less than 30, comma, F10 times 2. Comma. If again, open your bracket, F10 less than 50, comma, F10 times 3. comma, F10 times 4. Close the first bracket. Good. Good. Close the first bracket, then close the second one. Close it again. Press enter. The answer there should be 200. Very good. Do you understand how we get this, or you need me to explain? Want to try?
I'm looking at it. If F10 is less than 30.
Double click on it so that we can also look at it here. Double click on it. I'm listening. Okay, I'm listening to you. No, when you did that, I said the answer was 200 and it's 200. So let me get you. Try your best. When you study it, you let me know what you think. You don't need to be right, but I want to be sure you get some concept. Then I will now explain it properly to you. 2-3 things are happening here at the same time. And I need you to get those 2-3 things.
The 3 things that happen is, the first one is if F10 is less than 30, then multiply F10 by 2. Obviously, F10 is 50, so that will not work.
Yes,
so
correct.
Again, if F10 is less than 50, multiply F10 by 3. Obviously, F10 is not less than 50, so it cannot be 150. So because it's not correct, the correct value now will be 50 times 4, which is 200.
Okay, I give you 5/10. Let me explain the reason why I'm not. Now, you will discover if you use the if statement. I told you must supply after the condition, you must supply what happened if true. If you don't supply what happened if false and it is false, it will display false. You remember we had that in the first example. But
Yes.
If you want the system to compute what happened if it is false, it will also compute it and display the answer. But in case you don't say you should compute it, it will just display false. But you must supply what happened if it is true. So what is happening here is that if F10 is less than 30, multiply F10 by 2. If not, check again. And that is why we use the if statement again. Do you see it? You know, for every if statement, we usually close the bracket at the end. You discover that this one we didn't close the bracket. Instead, if it is false, check again. We now start to use another if statement. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So check again if F10 is less than 50. And here 50 is not less than 50. So if it is less than 50, do F10 multiply by 3. If not, do F10 multiply by 4. So because this is not less than 50, is doing F10 multiply by 4. So the first closure of bracket is for the first if. The second closure of the bracket is for the other first if, because the second if is embedded inside the first if. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Go to insert function. Let's see how insert function put it. Click your insert function under the formula bar. Let's see how I put it. Do you see that? You can see the logical test is F10 less than 30 is false. So this, assuming it is true, it will have display 100. You now say check again. If F10 is less than 50, display F10 times 3. If not, display F10 times 4. So because it is false, it is F10 times 4, and that's why it display 200. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Very. So you can close it and press enter. You can close it. So you understand the basic function of using the if statement now. Hello? Are you with me?
Yes, sir. I'm with you, sir.
You understand the basic function of using the if statement now?
Yes, sir.
Very correct.